Hey friends, I'm excited to talk to you today about Ableton shortcuts. This is Ableton specific. This is a video to help you get around Ableton better, faster, more efficiently, more flowy. I'm going to share with you today all the shortcuts that I use. I'm not going to be covering every single keyboard shortcut button that you can press, just the ones that I personally use all the time to get around Ableton super quickly. So if you're feeling like you want to become a bit faster with navigating Ableton and doing things in Ableton, if you're just starting out and you don't even understand how to get around Ableton, and if you're really versed and you're just looking for some more gems, this video is for you. I reckon there's something for you here. Make yourself comfy. I hope that you're doing amazing today. And to begin with, I just wanted to invite you, if you're not already, to, from this moment forwards, commit to using shortcuts. Make the commitment to yourself that you will never right click on something and press it with your left mouse button if it has a shortcut. And I'll show you what I mean there. So Ableton is really generous with their shortcuts. Like, they really want you to learn them. And what I mean by that is, if you say right click on something to do something, like to cut it, copy it, all these things, you can see on the right here that they have shortcuts. And so this is how you're going to learn the shortcuts in Ableton. If you wanted to make a MIDI clip to be putting MIDI notes in, if I find myself a MIDI channel and you highlight the area, right click on it to insert a MIDI clip, it tells you CTRL Shift M. So from now on, do not press that button. You must instead do CTRL Shift and M and do the thing yourself. This is going to make you super fast. This is going to make Ableton like second nature. It's going to reduce the amount that you're going to have to think about doing things. And so I want you, as I share these shortcuts with you today, to either take notes or to take a moment to actually just quickly do it yourself with me in the video as well. So maybe pause the video. I'm going to try and move pretty fast just to keep this video as short as possible. And I want you to stop it, do the shortcut that I share with you, and come back to the video again, and we'll keep moving forwards like that. So to begin with, we're going to be talking navigation. So obviously you can see everything I'm covering here. I've got the timestamps in the YouTube description there for you as well to jump around if you think you know some of these already. And to begin with, we're just going to be talking about getting around Ableton. So I use Control and Scroll to zoom in and out of the project. I use Shift and Scroll to move left and right. So if I'm zoomed in, I can go left and right. And Alt and Scroll will open up clips or tracks. It'll open up these tracks. And so those three, Control, Zoom, Shift, Scroll left. Scroll is scroll up and down, of course, as well. Should mention that. And Alt is going to be opening up these clips instead of having to like click on these clips and then manually adjust the height yourself. You can just anywhere, yeah, do that. Easy peasy. Scrolling around is good fun. The next one as well, which is something that I don't personally do all that much, is to Control, Alt, and drag your way through a project. The reason I don't do that is because I have this MX Master Pro and it has a scroll wheel for my thumb to do left scrolling. So I can literally left, right scroll and up, down scroll all in one, all with my hand basically. So I kind of always have my pinky on my Control and my thumb pretty close to spacebar or Alt and my ring finger close to Shift, so that I can do these types of movements really quickly to get around Ableton. So I invite you now to have a little play, just zoom in and out of Ableton, move left and right, Control grab it, open up some tracks, insert some tracks into your track with Control T or Control Shift T to add some MIDI tracks, and have a little play and come back when you're ready. Next, I'm going to share with you H. H is really great for just collapsing tracks to be all the same height, and then H again will undo that. So that's kind of fun. Also, I know I'm kind of moving off my exact list here, but Control A will allow you to edit all of these tracks at the same time. So what I like to do is, if I feel like I've got too many things open all at once and H is not good enough for getting things out of the way for me, I will just go Control A here, Control A, and then be able to collapse everything. like that. And that makes that nice and easy and fast. We've got the Shift tab is a really essential shortcut in my workflow. So in Ableton, we've got two of these like views down the bottom here, the selector views, they seem to be called. So we have the clip view, which is where you can see, say, the audio, or you could see the MIDI. So these like colored bars inside the arrangement view are considered clips inside the tracks. Right, so the tracks are the horizontal lines, and if you're in session view, which you can get to by using tab, these are vertical now. The tracks are vertical, and so that's the difference of the two views. I use tab to get through those, but you've also got these two views at the bottom, which usually you'd go down and click on. Instead, you can Shift tab. Shift tab will get you around those two views nice and fast. I do that all the time. That's like absolute creme de la creme of a shortcut for me to quickly change between editing MIDI notes to go over here and edit the EQ and then back over to the MIDI notes. Or if I'm like clicking on this and then I'm like, oh no, this is the wrong view, I don't have to go down here, click on this. I can instead Shift tab and go into this mode straight away. This is the kind of stuff that's going to save you like milliseconds, seconds over time to minutes over time to hours over time. Like really good, useful shortcuts. So we've done Shift tab. Next, we've got A. You may already know this one. A is your automation. So if you open up a clip, you can A, and then you can click on like usually if you had a device, like I'm just going to put a utility in there. You can automate that by clicking on this. Now it's going to be that, and so I can automate that up and down, and I'm not going to show you what that sounds like because that's not actually something that I want to do, but I can turn that automation on and off. You can see it's here. Usually you have to press that, and the shortcut for that is A. If any shortcuts are not working for you, it's most likely because this keyboard symbol is on, and the shortcut for that is M. And if M is on, A is not going to work. Instead, it's going to be giving us sound, which is not what we want. And so I press M, and now I press A, and I can edit things. So any of these shortcuts that are on the keyboard, we're going to cover the like MIDI input shortcuts soon, but M is how you turn that on and off. And if it's on, it's going to affect your shortcuts. The next absolute time saver is to search for everything that you want to bring in. So if you are ever like, I need an EQ, instead of going over to MIDI effects or audio effects and finding EQ, however, we're just going to do Control F, write in EQ, and then there, boom, I can put in my EQ. Just like that. Control F is the fundamental thing for me. Doing Control F again is going to reset it. And then if you're stuck in the view, you press escape and it will take you out of it there. So sometimes if you've like pressed Control F, but then you start doing things, you might forget that that is still there. So escape will quickly get you out of there. Okay, this brings us to the Control A thing I've got here. So if I click on a track and go Control A, anything that I do to a track here, so if I change the output to a certain thing, it's going to affect every single one to be that way now. And obviously if I open and close with all of them selected, it's going to affect all of them. So nice. That's navigation pretty much done. That's sort of like how I navigate around Ableton and get things done really quickly. Couple little bonus ones for you. If you press Z on a clip, it'll zoom right into the clip. And then X will take you back out. So Z and X is like, if I select a bit of time, I press Z, it brings me to that time. It's a neat little shortcut as well, but I don't really use it very much. Just felt like sharing that one with you. It can be helpful. If you're ever like really stuck in and zoomed in, you press X, it'll take you sort of out to a further reach. Alrighty, next we're talking clips. So what I mean by clips again, clips are any of these bars, colored bars inside the arrangement or the session view. They can be audio or MIDI. So when we're working with audio, Control Shift is a really awesome, actually, let me just check something. Okay, so I just discovered something new. You can do this with MIDI. So Control and Shift is a really cool little shortcut because it allows you to move not only audio, but also MIDI clips within their clips. Like it allows you to move the information inside. So what I mean by that, Control and Shift, and if I pull it over, you can see it's moving the audio across, and it's doing so according to the grid that I've got set up. And another bonus for you, which I didn't think about earlier, is that if you do Control 1, it'll make your grid smaller, and Control 2 will make your grid bigger, and Control 3 will turn it into triplets. This also works with inside the grid. For MIDI clips. So if I go to a MIDI clip here and I go click on the MIDI clip and then press Control 2 now, you can see, and Control 1, it's getting bigger and smaller, Control 3 to make it triplets. That helps with the snapping of the grid. So yeah, a little bonus one for you, totally forgot about. And I've also got here Control Shift and Alt, right? So because Control Shift stays on the grid, so if I make this grid smaller, it's gonna go a bit smaller steps. If you hold Alt with any type of movement, whether you move a clip, so everything kind of snaps to the grid in Ableton, which is useful. But if you want to get anything ever off the grid, all you have to do is hold Alt. So with the clip, if I hold Alt, I can move it really fine, as you can see there. And I can move the clip like that. But if I don't want to move the clip, I can do Control and Shift to move the thing and hold Alt, and I get this really fine-tuned movement. So a couple snazzy little shortcuts there for you. Control E will cut clips up. So this again works for MIDI and audio. So if you click on a section in the timeline that you want to cut, and then you press Control E, this works very similarly to like a slice feature in something like CapCut or video editing softwares. And you can see now this is two different clips. Again, using Alt, if you click on the timeline anywhere, you can see I can put it in a specific spot that isn't on the grid, and then Control E will allow me to cut that. Control D is an obvious one. It's duplicate. It's a quick copy and paste. Basically, if you highlight an area or you select a clip and you press Control D, it's going to duplicate it. The way it's going to work is very specific on what is highlighted. So if you click a clip, it's going to select the whole clip. And if you just highlight a certain area, it's only going to duplicate that area, and it's going to duplicate it from where this highlighted area ends perfectly. So sometimes clips like aren't perfect, and if you duplicate this now, you'll see that it's going to kind of go off grid a little bit, which isn't what we want. We want to make sure that we're selecting the whole area, being really precise and duplicating that. If it's what we're trying to do. If we're trying to preserve the rhythm to keep things in the grid, in the pattern, then make sure you're really specific about what you're highlighting. And Control J is to consolidate. It basically turns whatever you're highlighting into one single clip. So now that area is highlighted. This works with MIDI as well. Control J, boom, all strung up together. When you do this with audio, it tends to make it into a new sample in your library. And if your track is rather quiet, it'll preserve the volume that it was at. And if you want to bring any sound up to 0, you can consolidate it with Control J and then double click on this volume bar and it'll bring it up to 0. I'll show you with a quieter sound, perhaps something like, let's see. Quiet sound. This one looks pretty quiet. So if I Control J this sound, and then you can see now it's preserved this 6 dB volume, and if I double click it, it'll bring it up to 0. So the loudest point is now 0. Obviously I don't want that for this sound, but some functionality for you. 0 turns, oops, sorry, because I was pressing on the clip here, it didn't work. Click on the clip, press 0, it'll turn it off, disable it without deleting it. Can be really nice for those of you that have commitment issues like me, that don't want to delete things but want to turn them off and maybe have them for later. Good for the hoarders out there. R is going to reverse your clip. And again, this isn't going to work if you've got your MIDI thing on. Sometimes it doesn't work. Why is it working? MIDI keyboard mapping, turn that off. Reverse is really handy. Obviously for creating MIDI tracks, super important one to remember is to highlight an area and then do Control Shift M. Gives us a MIDI clip, super handy. Another one for copying over time, rather than like if you create a nice little section, you're like, I love this section, I want this whole thing to be over there. Instead of like having to go all the way to the top and then all the way to the bottom and then going back to the top and doing like Control C and then, oh no, I've got stuff here, though it's in the way, what do I do? One thing you could do is select the time and go Control I, which creates time, insert time. which you don't even have to select the whole area for. You could just do that and then insert time, and it adds that time. And then now I need to click where I copied from and hit Control V, voila. Instead of going all the roundabout way like that, I can just highlight a certain amount of time. Doesn't have to be every single clip. Control Shift and D, and it will duplicate the time. So now this whole section has been duplicated across. Handy, handy. A new shortcut in Ableton is Control B, which is super rad. If you highlight a certain amount of time on any track, audio or MIDI, and you do Control B, it'll bounce it to audio. I'm going to do a smaller section here just to make it faster. And so this is a shortcut for essentially freezing and flattening. You can also bounce groups into place, which is really cool. And so now we've got this sample. It turns it off for us. It keeps all of the send information there, any volume information there, and it just turns any processing into this recorded audio, which is super handy. The next one is just pressing B turns this pen mode on, which is really great for when you're working inside these clip views, and particularly I use this in MIDI mostly. B will allow you to like draw according to the grid that's there. It'll also allow you, if you have say a lot of these, to draw the velocity in audio, what it looks like. If you're in the envelopes, you can draw envelopes in. It'll be very jittery, so use it with caution. Using Alt will allow you to do really smooth lines. So if you want to draw some envelopes in, envelopes basically allow you to do automation within clips of certain parameters, like volume, pitch, these little envelopes as well. So yeah, holding Alt will let you do a bit more of a smoother drawing there. And a little MIDI trick that I use a lot is when I have, I'm going to just do this again with lots of different. Okay, so if I hold Control, it allows me to draw a straight line, which can be really handy for doing velocity ramps like that. So enjoy those ones. Alrighty, that's pretty much all of the clip shortcuts that I use. Definitely have a crack at all of those real quick before we move on and jump back to the video as you need, just to quickly follow along. Last little bit I just wanted to share, you probably already know this one, but it's just how to input like MIDI keyboard information, which is something that I do mostly. Like I use my keyboard to do a lot of my musical information more than like my MIDI controller. So you don't need a MIDI controller to make music. You can use your keyboard on your computer. You get an octave there and it's enough to doodle sounds. So to turn it on, you need to press M. M, you'll see it up here, turn on this yellow light. So having M on means that now when I press my keyboard, MIDI information comes out, and you can see that MIDI is coming in because this little square in the top right corner up here is turning on when I press buttons. That's MIDI input. That's good. That's what we want to see. If I had that off, it would be doing other things. Oh yes, and of course solo. I mean, you should know solo if you don't know it already. I pressed accidentally, but yeah, solo allows you to only listen to the one track out of all the other tracks. Super valuable to do. I do it all the time. Forgot to put that one in there, so glad that came out naturally. But yeah, if I got M and I press on a key, right now I'm launching a whole bunch of different samples inside a sampler. And if I press Z or X, it goes up or down an octave, and you can see in the bottom left what octave you're working with. And then usually as well, if you have a piano roll, I'm going to unfold this and zoom out, because this also works exactly like the timeline, with the Control zoom in. The Alt allows you to make it bigger. Shift allows you to zoom left or right. I can see where the keys are that I'm hitting. I can zoom in, I can make it bigger so I can see the keys a bit bigger with Alt, right? And then if I press X, it'll go up. And if I press C or V, it'll change the velocity input. And again, you can see that down here. That's just a quick little keyboard one. And then now for some juicy little bonuses for you guys. I want to introduce you to the idea of key mapping. This is pretty cool stuff. This is a bit more advanced and not something that you have to do. And you might not even know what you want to use this for when you're beginning, but it's gonna be nice once you get to a place where you want to use it. So key mapping allows you to map a key from your keyboard to anything in Ableton. And this is like case sensitive. So if dependent on capitals, you know, if you're going to use a capital N or a lowercase n. And the way you access it is Control K. And right now I've got one key mapping on, and what it's doing, I've mapped it to this Max for Live device here called clip gain, which allows me to look at some of the clip information. And so I've mapped it to the letter N. So if I get out of here and then I just click on a clip now and I press N, it brings up this information. I can change the gain, I can change the pitch, I can change the warping mode and stuff like that, just like that. Another fun thing to do could be like, I've got on my master, I've also got this viewing rack that allows me to listen to either the stereo or the lows and stuff like that. So if I give you a little demo of what the song sounds like, and then if I jump over to here and I turn the, I want to be able to just hear the sub, for example. So what I could do is I could go Control K, click on this, and I could maybe make this, let's go, just trying to think of a key that I could use. Okay, I'm going to make this one the comma, right? And it gives me an idea of like what's the range that it sets. So I'm going to put that from minimum to maximum into the middle so that it only stops here in the middle. Here I'm going to match it so it says 86 down there where it is now, so it's about the same. So now what should happen is if I press it, you can see it turns it on and off now. So at any point in my song production, I could quickly zoom in and have a little squiz what's going on down here. Yeah. So that's super handy. You set up your own little MIDI maps. I know some artists that have every single key mapped to like their favorite plugins, for example, and the presets that they like to use all the time to just load them in automatically. That's probably done with a Max for Live device, but it can be really cool to set things up like that. And if you've got like some sort of effects racks or something like that, you can also create your own little effects with key mapping. And my last little bonus invitation and shortcut is to utilize the save as default feature in Ableton. And a few different examples of that are one, the EQ. Like I use EQ all the time. And so what I've done, if I Control F EQ 8, for example, when I load it in, it comes pre-set up with this hard cut low high pass filter at 130 hertz, and I can turn that on. And I've also got a shelf if I wanted that as well, and just some other ones that are ready to go in different spots where I kind of want them to be. And so what I've done is I've just sort of set it up the way I like it, and then I've right click on it and save as default preset. And so now every single time it's going to load in. Another fun example that Virtual Riot I think had set up on theirs, which I've copied, is to have the tracks automatically set to resampling. And you can see here that resampling is already set up when I load in a new track. And the way I did that, and I've also got this little rack here actually as well, which has utility, a spectrum, and ozone imager for stereo imaging, which is just, you know, 3 things that I might like to have on my racks at all times. And so then I've changed this to resampling, and then right click here, save as default audio track. I've also got a template which I use, which I've set up with some sends already in there, so I don't have to make new sends every single time, and a bit of like stuff on my master chain and all of that. And you can see, which you can do if you like your template the way it is and you've created a bit of a project and you always want Ableton to open up the way that you've set it up, you can go File, here, save as a template, or you could save as default set. So default set means that every single time you open up Ableton, it's going to open up this way, and template is just like saving a template. So yeah, those are all my shortcuts. I hope that's helped you become faster and inspired you to just go in and jam and mess around with audio some more. Yeah, really my favorite thing that I love to use is this control move feature. A quick little, okay, something I just realized I've forgotten, so I'm going to interject here, is that if you hold shift on the edge of a clip, it allows you to stretch the audio. And that's super awesome, because stretching and then moving things around and messing with these warp modes will create a whole bunch of new sounds. And it's a really quick and easy way to turn audio into like new audio, new sounds, basically. It's something that I do a lot. Yeah, if you made it this far, I just want to say I love you. I think you're amazing. I believe in you. And I would really appreciate if you could just hit that subscribe button, drop a little like, and drop a comment of what your favorite shortcut is. And feel free to let me know any other shortcuts that I missed. If you want to help out anyone else watching this video and you think there's a valuable shortcut, drop it in there. Feel free to let me know what you want to know about next. I'm here to support the growing producer journey that you're all on, and stoked to be on that journey with you as well. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you next time.